Many people get into running for different reasons. For some, it could be their health, to release stress, for fitness, or to lose weight. Getting into running is actually very inexpensive. All you need is a pair of shorts and shirt, but of course that do depend on the weather, which we'll discuss a lot later in the video. Now, for some, you might benefit from consulting a physician, especially if you're coming back from an injury or managing a medical condition. As a new runner, you want to start with walking and then ease yourself into running. Eventually, you want to get yourself to be able to do the run and walk method. And if you need more tips on how to do the run and walk method, definitely check our channel because we have a video of how to run and use the run and walk method. Now aim to run 2 to 3 times a week. Stay consistent. And then before you run, make sure you are warming up. And this is where you want to do dynamic stretches like either jumping jacks, jump rope, or walking or a light jog. And after your run, make sure you are cooling down and easing your muscles. As a runner, you want to think about safety, which means when you're out on your run, you want to run in a direction facing traffic. Another thing you may want to be aware of, you may want to make sure when you go out on your run, you are carrying identification. So therefore, if something to happen, you do have an ID for someone to be able to ID you. As a woman runner, you definitely want to think about running with a high impact sport bra, and that's to help protect your breast while you're out on your run. You could also run with music for motivation, but always be aware of your surroundings. Now think about bringing a running friend to help keep you accountable. And if you do not have a friend or you're new to an area, you could definitely join a running group or a club. Another thing, you want to be thinking about cross training to prepare your muscles for the different workouts and running that you will be encountering. And this will also help prevent injury. Give your body time to adapt and get used to running. And consider subscribing because we have a future video coming out on cross training for runners. Something else you may want to think about while you're out on your run is getting a GPS watch, because with a GPS watch, you are able to time your pace and know your distance. And even more advanced GPS will also give you your cadence and your stride and even your heart rate. Now there's different terrains that you will be able to run as a runner. There's a road running, which means running on pavement. There's trail running, which means that you either run on a paved trail or a dirt trail or a mountain trail. Definitely check our channel because we have a video on how to do trail running if you are interested in doing trail running. And then there's a treadmill, and the treadmill is great because it gives you that smooth transition, and it's better for recovery injury runners looking to come back to running. So you want to wear shoes that's comfortable for you and that's right for your running style and foot. You might benefit from visiting a running specialty store, so you have professionals in that store that be able to assist you with making sure you are purchasing the right shoes for the way that you run. And some of these stores will also have running little treadmill machines that you can run on so you can gauge how you run to make sure you are purchasing the right shoe. Now, when it comes to your gear, you dress for the different seasons. So for cold weather, you want your most inner layer shirt to be a whisking sedated material so that way that it can whisk sweat away from your skin. And you definitely do not want to be wearing cotton. You might even could wear gloves or mittens for your hands. and a hat to protect your head. Don't overdress because you will warm up as you get into that run. So if you're going outside and you feel warm, you most likely have overdressed. The rule of thumb is to dress like it's 10 to 20 degrees warmer outside than it really is. For example, if it's 30 degrees, then you dress like it's 40 degrees. Now, when it comes to hot weather running, of course you get away with wearing some shorts and a shirt or a tank top, but you also want to be wearing light colored clothes and loose fitting clothes. And you want to stay away from the dark clothes because that will absorb the sun and the heat to you. So to block the sun, you can wear a visor. And then if it's really hot outside, you can use water that you can splash on yourself on certain spots, like your head, your arms, your shoulders, just to help cool you down. Now, if it's really hot outside, you definitely want to be running slower and not trying to run your normal pace. I want to push that pace and definitely not doing sprint runs out there. And if it's extremely hot, then you might consider running on a treadmill on that day. Now, make sure your runs is manageable. So at the beginning, those runs shouldn't be too hard, but it will be challenging. So that means that if you're running with someone, you want to be running at a conversational pace, so you should be able to talk if needed. If you can't, then you want to slow down. And if you're running by yourself, then talk to yourself. And breathe through your nose and mouth to get the most oxygen. Also, make sure you are practicing good posture. So make sure you're running tall, like you're being pulled by a string. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Make sure your hips and pelvis are neutral. You want your back straight. And also, when it comes to your eyes, you want to be looking forward. And you want to look down about 10 to 20 degrees in front of you. Now, your hands should be loose. It shouldn't be balled up and fist, so you want to make sure it's very loose. And your arms should swing naturally forward and back and should be at a 90-degree angle. And you don't want to lean too far forward while you're running. Now, also monitor your foot strike. So foot strike is that the way your feet is landing on that ground. Now, some runs going to be a heel striker. You're going to see some runs be like a mid-foot striker. So that means they landed in a mid-foot. They're running on mid-foot and they're rolled over to the front of their feet. But depending on the way that you run, if you're a heel striker, it's most recommended for long runs to run mid-foot. But if you're a heel striker, it might not be recommended to change into a mid-foot run, but you definitely want to consult a running coach on your running form to make sure that you are running properly with that right foot strike. Focus on your hydration while you're out there running. So when you're running, you sweat. So you need to be replacing that. So it means that you want to make sure you're drinking some type of water or sports drinks before, during, and after that run. And make sure you're drinking when you feel thirsty while on that run. If you're not sure how often you should be drinking, then you can just drink every 20 minutes while you're out there. Now, running do burn a lot of calories, but that don't mean that you want to eat anything. So you do want to eat before you go out on your runs if you can. So you definitely want to eat food with carbs and low in fiber and fat and protein. And try to eat about 90 minutes to 2 hours prior to that run. And if you are running more than 90 minutes, then you definitely want to be replacing carbs during that run. So that means that you could be eating some gels or even some blocks or bars out there. And after that run, make sure you're eating something with high in carbs and even proteins about 30 minutes after that run to replace that glycogen, so muscle glycogen. And you can look at the good ratio would be 3 to 1. So it means that you'll be eating every 3 carbs to 1 protein. Now add motivation to your run. When you first start out there, you're gonna have some challenging days, and you need to have something that's gonna keep you motivated to keep going out there and run. Different things that could keep you motivated, it's of course running with a running partner, listen to music, or you could go ahead and journal. So that means that you could journal your runs. So if you have a bad day or don't feel like go out there and run, be able to read about your running journey, that may keep you motivated to go out there and run. Now, once you have established your running program, you might be interested in start doing racing events. So races is time events that you run for a certain distance. Most races you're gonna run a bib, so it'll be a time chip included with that. And then once you cross the start line and finish line, this timer go off. Your race results is posted at the end of the race for most races as well. And top overall runners as well age group category runners sometimes be able to win awards based on those categories. Now, different type of races, you have a 5K, which means that you run it at 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles. And this is perfect for beginner runners due to that short distance. The next race is 10K. So that means that you run 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles. So if you have been doing 5K and you're comfortable with that, a 10K would be the next challenge. So this race would be run a little bit longer, but you still are able to push that pace. The next race would be 10 miler. So if you're running 10 miles in this race, it's a great way to challenge yourself if you have already took on that 5K and 10K. So it gives you a great challenge run to be able to go out and do. Now, if you are interested in keep up in that challenge after doing a 5K, 10K, and 10 miler, then the half marathon would be your next option. And this race is run at 13.1 miles. Now, this race is difficult for a lot of runners, and some don't even be able to make it to the finish line. So that means that you do typically would need to train. Most people need to train for this race. But it's a great challenge to go ahead and take on. The next one, if you're still looking for a challenge, is the marathon. The marathon is run at 26.2 miles. Now, this is a very challenging event, but made doable due to the Jeff Galloway run and walk method. Marathoners or marathons do allow walkers to do that event. But you do want to make sure you are checking the race website because some races do have a certain cutout time for that overall finish time for that marathon. So not all marathons would be a good fit for all runners. And if you're still looking for a challenge, you could try out the ultra marathon. Now, the ultra marathon is very difficult and it's very important that you do train for this event. Most ultra marathons is done in trail running, trails. So the distance will most likely be 50 plus, so 50 miles or more. Now, if you want to learn more tips on running for beginners, definitely check our beginner playlist right here on our channel to give you more in-depth tips to get you right no matter what you're training for. We cannot wait to see you on our next video. Until next time, bye-bye.